Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Refined Savage, your favorite podcast. I'm saying it's your favorite podcast because, well, it should be. Anyhow, Viking Coffee, Evan Armstrong's brand, the best coffee around. I am telling you, store-bought coffee is absolute garbage. So is Starbucks, so is all these other places, Dunkin' Donuts. You gotta have good coffee from an artist, a guy who really knows his coffee. Check out VikingCoffeeCode.com. Use the code VikingCoffee10 at checkout. He's got all the flavors up there, and they are all fantastic. Guys, let's talk about the beard struggle. Do you have one of those big, giant beards, those mountain man beards? Do you have just like a regular beard that just needs some grooming? You got to keep that thing on point. It's got to be smelling and looking fresh. You can't have shit hanging off it or smelling bad. You got to take care of it. So the beard struggle has everything you need. Balms and salves and rubs, combs and straighteners, everything you need to keep that beard looking and smelling fresh. Use the code REFINESAVAGE, all one word, all lowercase, at checkout at thebeardstruggle.com. Impact mouthguards. Impact mouthguards. These guys at Impact, I'm telling you, if you're a lifter, having a mouthguard in helps a lot of people. You got to try it out. Give it a shot. Don't use some cheap, shitty mouthguard you find at Target. That's not going to do the trick. You want to get it professionally crafted for your jaw, and Impact mouthguards will help you out. If you're in a contact sport, anytime anyone's putting hands or feet on you, you got to have a mouthguard to protect not just your choppers, but your brain pan. Make sure that you can form full sentences later on in life. And if you're one of those teeth grinders, this can help you out as well. Give them a shout at impactmouthguards.com. Use the code REFINEDSAVAGE, capital R, capital S, at checkout. Stay Classy Meats. Stay Classy Meats is the best way to get your meat. Hey, it's World Carnivore Month. What better time to try your first box from Stay Classy Meats? That's pretty much how I stay fed, is through Stay Classy Meats. You got to give them a holler. Bozeman, Montana. These animals are humanely processed, no hormones. They're eating the right stuff. They're drinking the right stuff. Their bison is out of this world, guys. I'm telling you, everything they make is great, but the bison, you got to try the bison. It's just insane. Check them out at stayclassymeats.com. Use the code SAVAGE at checkout. Cerberus Strength. Look, you guys, we have to support the people who support us, right? Do you want to be giving your money to some weirdo CrossFit people who are going to sell you stuff that they kind of know about? Or do you want to go to a guy who has been in the game, both in Highland Games, powerlifting, and strongman, and knows what you need as strength athletes? That's Cerberus Strength. You got to go check them out. They've got everything you need. Smelling salts, tacky, sandbags, belts, wraps, straps, t-shirts, everything you could possibly need. Give them a holler at Cerberus-strength.us. Use the code REFINESAVAGE10 at checkout. Warrior CBD. CBD oil is all the rage right now. Everybody has their own CBD brand. I'm telling you, I've tried them all. Warrior CBD is the best stuff out there. Great products, great humans. That's the other thing, is you can just go to the Instagram page and get a hold of Nancy at Warrior CBD, and she will help you figure out what is best for you. Where else are you going to get that? You're not calling some big company and having the CEO help you out. Nancy is passionate about CBD oil. Warrior CBD is the way to go. Check them out at warriorcbdofficial.com. Use the code WARRIOR20OFF at checkout. Finally today, Serious Steel. The good folks there are just out of this world. Customer service at Serious Steel is out of control. I just love them. They are doing some awesome stuff. Their knee sleeves and wrist straps are now powerlifting legal. You got to get a hold of them. Get a hold of Serious Steel. We are actually giving out some Serious Steel merchandise this weekend at our Odin's Challenge event. So I want you to come check that out. And if you're competing, maybe you'll get some Serious Steel gear. If not, give Serious Steel a holler at SeriousSteel.com. Use the code SAVAGE at checkout for 10% off. Today on the show, straight out of Team BSS in Youngstown, Ohio, Mark Jones. Mark is a super high-level strongman competitor. Coming up on that 800-pound deadlift. He's a savage. He's also a social worker working with at-risk youth in the Youngstown area. We had a fantastic conversation. I think you're really going to love this one. Mark is an awesome guy. Fantastic athlete, fantastic human. Sit back, enjoy the podcast. We'll see you at the end.
Able to say you're not allowed to say?
No, this is NC-17 rating, so we no kids should be listening right now, and you can drop as many F-bombs as you want because I do it on a regular basis. But
yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was politically correct.
Yep. How was Thanksgiving?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Every year coming home is a great time. I don't get to come home often. So when I do, my people show me to a good time.
Yeah, you're originally from Lorain, right?
Yeah, well, I was born and raised in Cleveland, and then I spent my high school career in Lorain, so it's definitely home as well.
Yeah. Admiral King, was it still going on at the time?
Yeah. Represented the gold, the blue and gold.
Right.
My senior year, class of 07, the last Lake Erie championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all right, man.
Admiral King was a monster for years. What years you in 2000?
2007.
2007, yeah.
So when I got there, sports kind of like was like Plymouth. It was like low.
Yeah.
And like through the time I was there, they started like progressing rapidly in different sports. I mean, I did track, wrestling, and football. And I know like the basketball players, they were going far in districts. Wrestling team, we were like, going to regional sectionals and things of that nature. Track, we were going to state. Football, oddly enough, football, it took to our senior year to like actually go 500.
Yeah.
And we ended up winning because we got in a three-way tie in our conference, which was pretty neat.
So I would have been coaching at Amherst when you were graduating. I was the strength coach out there. So under Grabowski. So I got there in 2005. So I think we probably played you guys like usually that first game or something. Sometimes we played you.
So my sophomore year, that's back when y'all had like Alex
Knipp and Ryan Kish.
Ryan Kish was so big.
He was big and I tried to teach that kid how to throw the shot put, and he was like a 54-foot shot putter, but he had the worst technique I've ever seen in my life.
Pure.
Just an animal.
Yeah,
he was. I don't know what happened to him. Him and his brother Brandon were both good athletes, and Ryan was a handful though. He was a super nice kid, but he had a temper.
Oh, I'd imagine.
Oh my God, he was always getting into fights. But
I'd imagine definitely.
Yeah, because when I was coming up, I graduated in '92, and I remember being a sophomore and lining up for my first varsity scrimmage against Admiral King.
Oh, yeah.
And got down at defensive end weighing about 170 pounds. And the guys lined up over me were Brandon DeMarco, who went to the NFL. Jerry Evans was the tight ends who played for the Broncos.
That's so crazy that you played against them because I just remember you seeing their jerseys.
And then Raymont was the running back.
Raymont was the running back?
So first play, those two double teamed me, and then Raymont ran right over my head. I was like, wow, that's my claim to fame is that for one play, I went up against three NFL players and they just fucked me up, man.
Yeah. For years though, Admiral King. When I was there, it was Coach Nesbitt. Well, Mark Campbell was the head coach, but Coach Nesbitt probably been there through like that era where all like the legendary players were there. Yeah, so it was pretty neat like having him around because he'd tell you stories all the time. And he was like this old, I'm talking like old traditional coach. He'd be like, "Come on, Jones, let me show you how to hit this hole."
Yeah, right. He's like, 70.
What's going on here? He was like, I didn't seen the best. You ain't impressing me. Come on over here.
Who do we have? We had. You didn't have Coach Provident at all, did you?
No.
He was an old Admiral King coach that we ended up with at Amherst. He was one of those guys too, where no matter what you were doing, he saw different at Admiral King, and it was just no. This is the way we did it at Admiral King. Yeah. And you can't fucking argue with these old guys because they did see everything, and so you just have to okay, Coach, I got it. I was
so impressed, especially with Coach Nesbitt because he was like 70, 80 years old at the time, and like in great health. So like, he was the line coach, and he used to like squat down, and when I mean like squat down, I mean like ass to calves, and watch the lines like formation. And I'm like, dude, I can't do that. And I'm in my teens, like
Yeah, Lorraine, man. Lorraine is such a weird town. It's a tough town.
Mm-hmm.
It's surviving, even though everything's gone. You know, the Ford plant that used to be the Ford plant and U.S. Steel, and you used to have all the industry coming in here, but people are still trying to make it work.
Which is good. I think that shows a lot of inner city strength.
Yeah.
The city is trying to pull together and find resources to keep going and grow, and I think that's really cool. Because it'd be a shame. Like, I think when I was here, we were saying for years, like, especially like around my sophomore, junior year, we're like, we really should just team up with Southview. And we hated Southview.
Right. That used to be the huge rivalry.
We were like, man, we would be so good.
Yep.
Like, they just split. Because at that time, both schools were doing good. We're like, we would be so good.
Yeah.
Like across the board.
And Southview they were wrestling fanatics, man. Those guys were crazy.
I'll never forget. I was on the front page of during wrestling season because I got pinned.
Yeah.
Southview beat us.
Right.
And I don't think they swept everybody, but like they beat us like significantly. It wasn't like a close match in wrestling that particular year. But my coach would always say, like, he was like, you, because of football, you're gonna be like so anytime things don't go your favor,
you're gonna be all over the place.
I was like, man, and they had a picture of me pinned. But like, I think the supermarket for years, when I used to come back when I was in college, they had a picture of me wrestling up at the
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like in my wrestling uniform, which I had no business being in a certain weight class, but at the time, you do what you got to do.
Yeah, when I was in high school, you had Southview, you had Admiral King, and you had Lorraine High. And I think...
Oh, you had all three?
Yeah, I think my junior or senior year, Lorraine High went away.
Okay.
And then, then they merged. I don't know when Southview and Admiral King merged.
It had to be like around 09.
Yeah. And then you go by Southview now, and it's just desolate. It looks like something out of The Walking Dead. Which
is crazy. I mean, they knocked down Admiral King. Like, it's not even standing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, right.
It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, that was the huge rivalry back in the day, and you don't get that anymore. But I don't know. It's probably good for used to have fights all the time too. Admiral King and Southview, because I used to work at the DH, and they'd be a basketball game, and it was like, oh shit, the Admiral King Southview basketball game. We're gonna get all these kids in for stupid fighting.
Yeah, and they used to have a lot of fights down at the holiday classics out in the
yeah.
The local teams would go down there.
Yeah, I don't know what they're. It would be.
People would be like sitting on the floor. So
right.
You feel like LeBron James was playing. They're like just people everywhere.
Yeah, I wrestled in the Holiday Classic when I was a sophomore, I think, or freshman. Yeah, that was crazy. And they used to have like tournaments. I remember one of them was called the Meat Grinder, and they could never do that stuff now. People would be so pissed off.
Oh man, it was definitely not politically correct.
No.
But
But yeah, it's a good town. It's a tough town, and they came to us like there's some kind of Lorraine business, like some kind of chamber of commerce type thing that came to us a couple years ago because we had been doing well in Lorraine as a startup business, and then you had Bascal Brewery had just opened up. Fred Lozano's place, and then that's Speakeasy, Speak of the Devil bar just opened on. All these places are opening up on Broadway, and you had like Levitate Jiu-Jitsu. So all these little businesses are coming to town, and they wanted us all to get together and have like a street fair or something. I think we were out of town that weekend or something, but all these little businesses are coming to town.
I wonder what they're doing. I wonder if they're doing like a tax break or a tax cut or something like
that. We ain't gotten it yet if that's what it is, because Lorraine will gouge you for taxes. But,
I don't know how they're getting them here, though, because usually businesses they do.
I think it's people because everyone's from Lorraine. They just you're just staying in your hometown.
Which is good. Somebody just posted a picture on social media recently, I would say a couple weeks ago, and it showed like the renovations to Broadway.
Yeah.
I was like, that's crazy. Like, I've never seen Broadway like this.
We haven't been out to Speak of the Devil yet, but I want to go out there, and it's only because me and my wife don't leave the house unless we absolutely have to.
I understand.
Yeah. But then you get the theater down there, the Palace and everything, and they're trying to do stuff with that. And
that's pretty dope.
Yeah, it'll come back. they'll figure it out. And you got that waterfront. You know, if someone could just put some restaurants and bars down there, and
Nice.
it's not like they're bringing in iron ore anymore. They might as well do something with it.
Yeah.
But how'd you end up in Youngstown?
Well, football. So I went down there on a football scholarship.
Youngstown State.
Youngstown State. Played from 07, 08, and I left in 09 about the time.
Were you under Tressel? Was he
No,
there
I missed
still?
Tressel.
Okay.
I missed Tressel. I was under Haycock, which Haycock coached under Tressel.
Okay.
He was cool.
Yeah.
Haycock was a great coach. I don't think he was, I don't want to say fit to be a head coach, but he wasn't like hands-on, and I think you need to be more hands-on with a head coach. He was more like, this is probably why he's so good at being a coordinator, because he was like very operational savvy. Like he'll put people where they need to be, and like he'll run a great scheme, But like I just think Tressel or any good coach or great coach, I would say, are very hands-on.
Yeah.
To be a head coach.
Yeah.
And then when Woodford came, he was too. I think he was too young of a coach because he was very combative with players.
Yeah.
And I just think you got to have two different roles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not playing. So like,
yeah,
you got to simmer the player down that's inside you, and then coach the players to be what you want them to be. Really,
you can't compete. That's for sure. That took me a long time to learn. Just opening this gym was that you're not in here to compete with people. You're here to work with them, and it's nice now that I don't have to do any of that shit. It's like, oh man, he's lifted a huge deadlift. Great, I'll be over here swinging this kettlebell if you need me.
Right, using these stretch bands.
Right.
Oh man, but yeah, so I was there, and then
played all 4 years, or
no? I only played 2.
Okay.
And I left my
as what, a running back?
Yeah, I was a running back. Well, great experience. I was blown away because I was like, holy shit, like football's all year round. Like,
It's a job, right?
When I quit, I had so much time, and
Yeah.
I didn't even know how much free time I had until like I wasn't playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, practices in the morning, practices afternoons. Then you had offensive meetings, specialized meetings, individual meetings, film study hall.
Yeah. Keep your grades up too.
Like what the hell is this? And so once I got done with it, then I was like bored. I was like, man, what do I do with all this extra time?
Yeah.
I didn't know how to make a schedule because they made it for you. They told you
Yeah.
your books. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know how to be a college.
They're not going to let their investment screw it up.
Right. Like, what do I supposed to do?
I remember just getting out of high school football after the season, and you're just like, wow, what do I do with this 2 hours at the end of the day every day? I can't even imagine with all that stuff going on.
Oh, it was crazy.
And then
a hell of a time, man.
What'd you graduate? What'd you graduate
So I
in?
got my bachelor's in social work, and then I ended up getting my master's in social work as well because I wanted to become a clinical therapist. So the cool thing is, Youngstown State at the time, and I'm probably not because they're growing. And Tressel is the president of Youngstown State now, which he like rebuilt and revamped Youngstown State. So it's like growing tremendously. Every time you go there, it's like a new building up, new dorms, new restaurants, new you name it.
Yeah.
And it's probably just because he's a great guy. He's just a hell of a guy, and Youngstown is his home. Like his parents stayed there when he was in Ohio State. His parents was there. He used to come all the time. Actually, cool fact, my first 2 years at Youngstown State, we had a contract with Ohio State to play them. So like I played against Katie Wells and all them.
Oh yeah.
So it was pretty neat, and like to be out there at the Ohio State stadium, it's unreal.
Yeah.
Like you on the ground, like on the field, and you feel it shaking because it's so like
it's like the Coliseum in Rome. It's so
like,
big.
it's so
First time I saw it, I was like, "Holy cow!" Just looking up at the walls.
So can you imagine like being all of like maybe I don't know 50 feet away from like your quarterback and can't hear?
Right.
What? Like, you're doing like hand signals. Like I don't even remember that signal. What the fuck is that?
I was there the year that Tressel took them to the national championship, and when they were playing Purdue, and it was like a come from behind, barely win at the end, and that stadium was rocking.
I'm telling you.
Holy cow! It was a little scary because people were just out of their minds excited.
So that's from a fan perspective.
Yeah.
Not just imagine be on the field.
Down in the bowl.
It's one thing to be like playing like, a team that's definitely a more up out of your league, like
Yeah.
just higher class football or whatever. But like to be there and experience,
Yeah.
you know, the fan interaction, being on the opposite sides, like holy shit, like,
Yeah.
this is crazy.
I remember coming back from Key West, Florida, and I was sitting in the airport, and we actually watched the game in a bar down there. So I'm sitting in the airport, and we were in, I think we landed in Columbus and had like a layover. So we're sitting in the airport, and all of a sudden I just hear applauding, and then it would get louder, like it's coming down from the concourses, and it's getting louder and louder and louder. And I look, and people at each gate are standing up and applauding. Here comes Tressel and his wife walking down the middle. And every concourse is standing up applauding, giving him a standing ovation.
Right.
And his wife's just smiling and waving, and Tressel's just nodding his head. It was just such a cool experience to see.
Like first lady. Like to be the
That's what it looked like.
That's what president. She's like the first lady.
He's being all just shaking, nodding his head. And she's giving her a little wave, and
So I had that experience, and then like fast forward to the future. Meeting Tressel as like the president of Youngstown State, he is so personable. Like, when I got there, they used to have like stories like the janitor people. They would tell you like the maintenance, like Tressel used to sleep on the couches, help kids do like study tables to be eligible to play and this and that. Like he was very hands on.
Right.
So I was like, well, that's a great experience. I necessarily didn't have that experience at Youngstown State. Just different coaching staff, different field, or whatever. But like to see him as a president, he's like very outspoken. He'll speak to anybody. He speaks to you like he have known you.
Yeah,
forever.
right.
And like that's to be Jim Tressel, to be that high. It's like
he's Ohio royalty.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? It's like he's not like a douchebag. He's not like, he's very humble.
And see that what that takes is a lot of discipline and a lot of work that a lot of coaches just aren't willing to put that much into it.
That's true. Or, I mean, I think it's just his character as a person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just think he has some really ground home, good personality skills, good character, like a good person, a genuine person. Yeah,
because if you're not that way, if you're faking it
wears off.
It's going to wear off. You're not going to sleep on your couch for very long,
You're going to get like overly stimulated. Man, there's too many fucking people.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because that guy is constantly, he can't even go to the supermarket without talking to somebody.
I couldn't imagine.
Like, I can't go to, like, just being here and growing up in this area, going to Target's like, oh, fuck, who am I going to see today? I can't even imagine being Jim Tressel. And no matter where you go, everybody's asking you questions, getting their photo. Because I'm not like a huge football fan, but if I saw Jim Tressel, I'm going to get my photo taken with him,
Absolutely.
I can't even imagine the rabid people coming up to you, So are you doing social work now?
Yeah, so I'm a clinical therapist.
Okay.
I've been practicing in the field probably a little over 7+ years.
That's a tough job, man.
It is, but I love it. I think it's not it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot. It's probably why I have a healthy relationship with lifting.
Yeah, right.
But I work with adolescent youth. I do not get away from doing it all, so I just specialize with kids, and I've just been more fortunate.
Are you going into like the juvenile detention centers and shit?
I work. So I work full time for the county in Martin County. Love my job. Love those kids. Most of the time, very unfortunate situations.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times, they develop these mental health disorders, if you will, because they were forced to survive in such a way. And like now, they don't even know reality. It's so hard for them to say to trust a different way. You know what I mean? Because they've been so groomed to survive and develop these habits. And it's like people are like, well, why they act like that, or why shouldn't they know better? Like they're 16. So like when you 16 and you've been through so much trauma and this and that, you probably, I'll say like cognitively and emotionally, like regulation, you probably like around like 9 or 10. So that's in their mental state. Like, so don't assume because they look 16 and they may be able to rob, steal, whatever. They don't necessarily. Their mind not necessarily connecting the dots at that point. You know what I mean?
I know how stupid I was at 16, coming from a suburban background with a mom and dad in the house and a good education, and I worked at So I started off my career in adult corrections and did 2.5 years there, and then switched to our juvenile detention center out here.
Okay.
And one of the reasons I switched was you're in a pod with these 40-year-old men acting like babies, acting like clowns, asking you for shit all the time. When I went to that irritated the fuck out of me.
I can't handle. That's why I can't handle adults.
But you go to the juveniles and you go, okay, I get it. You know, this is a kid. Yep. And the further I got like up the chain of command or whatever, the more empathy I had for the kids, because you could just take a step back and go, all right, this kid isn't an asshole because he's an asshole. He's an asshole because he's never had anything.
Right.
And he's had to fight for every goddamn thing he's ever had. Mm-hmm. And then you get, once in a while, you get the kid in there where you're just like, man, I want to take this kid home with me and help him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you build lasting relationships, and it's really cool because Youngstown is really not that big of an area. So, like, I be out and about, and I see kids, like, I worked with,
right.
Like, little,
and
they running up, hey, Mr. Mark, how you doing? This and that, I'm doing this, I'm here. My mom is doing great now, we're doing, it's like, man, that's awesome, And, like, sometimes it may be years later, you know what I mean? Like, this kid may been the biggest thorn in my ass, like, while I had him, but, like, years later, like, I'm doing great now, everything, you helped me so much, and it's like, wow, I just wish I'd had it back then, but like it's good. It's still good.
Like you could see, if you could just see in a mirror where this kid was going to end up, it'd be a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
I saw a kid in the grocery store a few months back, and he was such an asshole. Mm-hmm. He was such an asshole. And here he is. He's got a little baby in the cart, and his wife is, and he's just pushing the cart, being a dad. And I was just like, I texted my buddy. He didn't recognize me. I texted my buddy. I said, so-and-so is at the grocery store, and he's got like a wife and a kid, and he's dressed all nice. And my buddy was like, you gotta be kidding me. Yep, he's doing it.
Oftentimes, like, I take my kids out to like community events or whatever, like respite work, and enjoy it. I allow them actually to be a kid. And one of the greatest experiences I have had thus far, one of the kids I worked with back when I was younger, he was like in the gangs, and I mean, he probably served in our just detention center before he like gets sent away, over years and change.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about, like he was there for a long time, like so long that like staff was afraid of him. He was a big kid.
Yeah.
Like, staff was afraid of him. And like lo and behold, years later, he's working for the same population, and like the MRDD population.
Wow.
He's that guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, you gotta be shitting.
Yeah.
Like you know how big of an asshole you were.
Yeah.
Like when I saw him like this, all of a sudden I was like, dude, you were such an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot believe you turned out this way. He was like, man, I got 4 kids. I'm taking care of my kids. I'm working. I love what I do. He was like, and like he was like so remorseful because he was just saying like, I apologize for the way I was, which helped me so much. And I was like, man, that's good. Like that's God. You know what I mean? Like I was like, we were just so happen to cross paths. You know what I mean? Like you really did most of the work. Like if you didn't want to change, you didn't have to.
It's got to energize you though.
Does.
What I'm doing is helping. If it helps, one kid a year, you're doing great.
Usually that's all you look for. If I could just change one person's perspective or help one person, I'll be all right.
It's you get some of these places like in inner city Youngstown or Cleveland, and they talk about, well, these kids just need to pull themselves up and help themselves out. They've never been helped at all.
Yeah.
First of all, a lot of them don't have dads in the house. Mm-hmm. So mom is working 2 jobs, trying to raise the kid. And whether mom's a good influence or not, that's tough right there. If you don't have a guy to model yourself after.
Yeah, but like how do you pull yourself up or help yourself out of shit you don't even know that you're in?
Yeah,
like
right.
If you're in a fight or flight state of mind every day,
right.
like you're not even getting your basic like emotional needs met because like say mom working 2 jobs to feed you, so she's not there, so you putting on a parenting role when you really just should be a kid. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then
that's like, a good point.
Why do you act up in school? Well, school is not a priority. If I'm thinking about if we're going to get our next meal, if I got to go get my sister because she's sick downstairs and mom can't leave work because whatever. It's like, well, of course they're gonna act up.
Yeah.
They ain't thinking about this damn test. Like,
yeah. Well, like, why would you care?
Yeah, why would you care? Like, I got real life stuff going on right now.
Yeah, and that was the thing is when I worked at the DH, you would sit there and watch visitation.
Mm-hmm.
and it was just moms coming in.
Oh yeah.
So
all the time.
it's just moms. So these guys, I talk about on this show, we talk about manliness and masculinity and honor and doing the right thing, but a lot of that is dad's job to show young men how to act. I was lucky enough to have a lot of men in my life who showed me the right path.
Mm-hmm.
If you're growing up and you barely see mom, let alone dad, how are you learning this shit? What do you watch TV?
Yeah. But you know what? I also blame it on the community too, because I feel like I was blessed to be in a situation growing up where, much like you, my dad was very influential in my life. You know what I mean? He meant a few words. Veteran. He he just, when he said it, he meant it.
Yeah.
And you know that was law. Like
Yeah.
you go about that. He give you some wisdom, son. You do this. My dad. One of my dad's favorite lines. I don't care what decision you make, right or wrong. If it means, you were a saint or me breaking my foot off in your ass, you just accept the consequence that comes with that decision and be a man and own it. Like whatever it is, it's gonna be a lot easier if you don't BS me and own whatever whatever you did. So I had that, but for a community though, growing up, there were also other male figures involved. And it could have been coaches, it could have been teachers. One of my favorite male, I guess, role models, if you will, was my teacher at Admiral King. His name was Mr. Maisie. He was our English teacher. And truth be told, I struggled in English. Like, his class was just hard. But he expected more out of you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so much that he was like expecting so much out of you that he belittled you. He was like, I'm expecting so much out of you, but I'm going to help you get there. Like, I'm going to show you what you'll get there. And I never forget it, my senior year, we had beat Southview, and it was this really cool picture that somebody took of me, like, running somebody over. And it was like, it looked almost like I'm doing a Heisman. Like, He was like, I want your autograph on this. And I was like, my autograph? And he was like, just in case you ever make it big, remember this. I want your autograph or whatever. And it was cool. But it's like, guys like that, like, he didn't have to be my dad or my uncle or my, older cousin or something like that. This was actually a white guy who was like, I'm gonna help you out. You know what I mean? I'm gonna hold you a little bit better, which is good. And I think communities need to do that. So in my personal life, I consider myself to be very fortunate because I have two dads.
Mm-hmm.
So not that I have two dads because my mom and dad like divorced or whatever the case may be, but like I have a biological dad, and then like I would consider like a god dad who actually raised me when I came to Youngstown. So the reason why I think it's very fortunate for me to be in a situation is because I think my dad took me to the highest level that he could, right? So my dad didn't go to college. My goddad, Michael Beverly, he have his master's. He taught me the professional side of different things.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would have ever came to that point because it was unknown to me. Not that I didn't want to achieve it or whatever, but I think like my dad took me to the highest that he could. He got me through high school. My dad went through high school. Taught me about working. I learned all my work ethic from him. So on and so on. And then, I met my goddad. He just like took me under his wing and showed me like what it meant to be at the next level, to be professional. Yeah. You can be pro at this. Because at the time I was like, man, I'm about to go to the NFL. Like, every kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, you could be a professional or a pro in anything, really. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, you go pro when people get like land jobs. He was like, that's what do you figure success is?
So you think about that, and you think about these kids who, like you said, you had two father type role models in your life, and you look at a kid who the only thing he sees is mom, and mom is busting her ass at some shit job. Why the fuck would you want to do that?
Right.
So master's degree. Right. Forget about a master. What the fuck's a master's degree? Nobody knows what that is.
Something like instant, and that's why a lot of times they turn to streets and stuff because they need something instant. They think instantly, if I get this right now, we can remove ourselves from this situation.
Right.
But it's not that easy.
Short money.
It takes some sacrifice, much like what moms are doing.
Yeah.
And then to your point, not only are they seeing mom busting her ass, they go to school. Most of the teachers are women.
Yep.
And it's nothing against that, but like, it's not a lot of male figures there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If the principal is a male, how often do you really see the principal? You know what I mean? Like, My principal when I was in high school, he was like ex-military, and I think he was actually in the reserves at the time I was in high school. But because of his background, he was around all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he walked the halls. It was like almost like bouquet. You know, if he caught you out there,
Yeah.
he was good though. He was very personable, but he caught you out there, he meant business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Serge was a really good guy, but again, you know, your teachers are going to be mostly women. In my field, as a therapist, as a licensed social worker, predominantly female population. So like they come in to help or career profession. They come in to help. But a lot of times it's women, and it's nothing against it. But like when you go over to these kids, it's like they have up over their necks in women.
Yeah,
you know I mean?
here's
like,
another one.
They need to see like some some male figures that actually are okay with helping another guy.
Yeah.
Showing them like it's cool to.
Women tend to be more empathetic and go into that field. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think not that guys are not or uncomfortable to do it, but like a lot of times, especially kids when their brains are like sponges, they need to see that it's okay to do that and how to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what is appropriate.
So we've got a gentleman in here named Ed Ed Moore, who's he's the head of probation for the Lorain County. And we've talked about this a lot, about using this gym to get kids. Like I've told them, we've actually went to a judge and we've talked about, we just can't figure out how to do it right. But I've said, look, if you get that kid who's got nothing, but you're looking at him and goes, all he needs is that push in that right direction, a little bit of a male role model in his life. Let's get him in here, free of charge. Yeah. All you got to do is get him transportation out here, and I'll put him to work. I'll get him lifting weights. We'll show him, we'll teach him a proper handshake, and it's going to happen eventually. But I think what we need is guys like yourself and guys like me, and like Ed, and I've talked to my friend Paul Jordan, who runs the jiu-jitsu school I go to, and we got guys like Isaac in here and Sean at your place, and you have all these male role models who work with these very limited populations of people. And if we could just get together and do something where we're going out and talking to these kids and showing that you can get a master's degree, that this is another option for you, or you can go and train your ass off and become a top level strongman, or go into the military and become an operator. They're talking about, I was listening to David Goggins talk, and he said he was like the 36th African American guy to graduate from Buds.
Wow.
But I gotta think it's because they don't even know that that's a fucking option.
Wow.
36 out of 300 some classes.
They don't know.
They don't even know that that is an option for them.
I run groups in the detention. So like my main job, I work on a treatment unit, which in Mahoney County, rather than sending kids away to like correctional facilities or DYS and things like that for juveniles, they decided to create a treatment unit within inside the detention center, which is really cool. I think it just gives like kids another opportunity, something different. So on the main population, the kids that are in DH, I run a group down there, and we just recently was talking about that, about the unknown, and like people, if you don't get anything else out of like learning different social skills and things in that nature, get to know people, because you can learn more. Like a lot of times that's just passed down wisdom, word of mouth, having a conversation, and somebody enlighten you, saying something that you haven't heard. Because a lot of times, especially in that area, those kids, they don't know nothing outside of like their side of town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, you tell them like, oh, you from Cleveland? They're like, what's out there? Like, I heard about it. Like LeBron James played out there. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, what's out there? It's like
it's a world away.
Yeah, like it's so far out of their reach, which makes sense to me. Knowing like the education that I was fortunate to earn, is their minds are physically not there. Like, you can't be in a survival mode and then expect them to think or plan ahead or a future, because we always think, because we're there, we're like, you got to think ahead, you got to make a plan, make a blueprint, this is what you do, this step by step, you got to be patient, and they're like, fuck that, like, I need it now, like if I'm going to do it, we doing it today, you know what I mean, like you ain't about to.
Well, when you're 14 years old and you say, okay, you're going to go to college for 4 years, like, holy shit, I mean, 4 years to us is like, okay, that's a commitment, but when you're 14 years old, that sounds like forever. Yeah, that there's stuff to be done.
Sean did something really cool at our gym. Like one time we hosted a show, maybe we really should get back to it, but we did like a strongman showdown, and we did like in the inner city in Youngstown, which was pretty cool.
Like you went out to you didn't do it at the gym?
No, yeah, we went out there.
Okay.
So we rented one of the local recreation centers, tarped over the gym floor, brought in the stuff, and had a show there, and it was really cool. It was really cool because we did it inside a public recreation center, so we couldn't charge the door, which was good.
I think I did that show.
You might have, yeah, you might have.
I remember you guys coming in tarping the floor, and I was
at.
That was the first time I actually qualified for a strongman competition where I had to beat somebody. Yeah.
That's funny. So yeah. But that was the reason why, because Sean always wanted to do something for the kids too. And most recently, the kids that I work with on the treatment unit, he allowed me to bring to the gym, and they love it. Like we get a chance to come up there and work out and see other people. Like, just to see other people that doesn't look like them or do look like them doing something that they want to figure out or try. You know what I mean? And it's usually, it's just different experiences. You take kids to see different things. Maybe your light bulb go off. Like, I never thought about doing something like that. Like, that'd be kind of cool. And just like you said, a lot of times the resources out there, they don't know. Like, they just don't know.
Yeah.
If they knew, they'll use it. Like people will be like, oh, I don't know why they don't ever use this, because they don't know.
Here, we're in Lorraine. How many of these kids can look at our place and go, oh yeah, $100 a month, no problem, I'm in there. Now, if Ed comes to me and says, hey, I got this kid. He's a really good kid. He doesn't have any money. Fuck him. Let's get him in here. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. But it's just like you said, when you're struggling for the next meal, forget about going to a gym every day.
It's not on your mind.
Yeah, and I think people, it's tough. It's tough to. So some of the things I said that helped me out a lot in life was, number one, I became a pro Highland Games athlete, so I got to see the world on somebody else's dime, and came out of small town Amherst where nothing ever fucking happens and everybody looks alike and everybody thinks alike and everybody, you got this redneck mentality. So all of a sudden I'm in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, or I'm in Iceland, or I'm in California, and I'm getting to see all these different people. And it's like, oh, there are other people that don't look like me out there that think differently. And then the other thing was, as soon as I got out of high school and went into college, I started working in correctional facilities. And again, I saw people from all walks of life and all different situations. And when you come out of those small dinky towns, it's important to, and I didn't know it was important. It just happened to me. So, but you look back and go, wow, that was the best things that could have happened to me.
Yeah, you appreciate it.
Yeah.
You appreciate it, and you become grateful for those different experiences.
And I'm telling my son now, who's 14, I said, I don't care what you're doing, but get the fuck out of here.
So go see the world.
Go somewhere. Go to college away from me. I'll fly you home. But get out. Don't be a half hour away and come home every weekend.
Right. Don't do that. He did.
And that's what I'm hoping for him. But I think we need to talk together as men and professional men and go out to these places and talk to these kids.
Or even bring them to you.
Yes.
Some kind of way, what I mean? Just so they can see something different and be in a different environment, rather than, doing the old, like, popping in classrooms or
right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I agree, because I think there's a lot of men with a lot of different knowledge and wisdom to share. Like,
and it's not just inner city kids. These kids that walk through my door, they don't know how to shake your hand. They don't know how to look you in the eye. Mom's raising them. Dad's sitting on the couch watching Ohio State football.
Yeah. And I think, like, it's if you really think about it, and this is what bothers me the most, because I just think we do it as a culture, which is crazy to me. But we take away so much from interpersonal interactions. So when I was growing up, like, recess was almost like mandatory. Like, you had to do it. Like one of those things. Gym and outside play. Like, my mom was like, if it was nice out, like, you're going to be grounded, you're going to go outside, or like, but you're going to get the hell out of here. Like, you're not going to be up under me. One of those kind of things where, like, when grown folks are talking, you're not around. Like, get the fuck, like, go find something to do.
Yep.
And, like, we got away from that. So like now, when I see kids, they're like almost socially awkward. It's like, why are you uncomfortable? Like we're just having a conversation. Like why are you like looking at the ceiling or at the floor? Like why are you like? It's okay.
I was talking to Amy, who's a teacher in here the other day, and they were talking about that exact same thing. And I said, and I'm sure you were the same way because you were before, the cell phones they were out, but not like they are now. We had to go up and talk to girls.
Yeah.
You had to have game.
You had a number in your hand.
Yes. But you had to make that long walk and go talk to a girl and talk her into going out with you.
Yeah.
Now these kids are texting each other.
School dances or social media. I'm like, dude, you taking the cheap way. Like,
it was so easy.
I gotta go talk to her. Or God forbid I call and like her old man answer the phone.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Oh my God, yeah.
Holy shit. I mean, I just want to have a conversation with her.
Oh man, that is such a lost art.
It is. But I think that alone taught so much because it taught you how to deal with rejection.
Why?
It taught you how to deal with like a sense of pride. Like you got a sense of pride in yourself. Like, look, I got a lot to offer. You know what I mean? Like I can be a good dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But it just teaches us a lot. It just teaches you a lot. Now we went away from it. And to think, kids, again, their attention spans are only so much in any kind of background, any kind of home setting. Their attention span is only so long. So like, why do you not give them enough breaks to interact?
Yeah.
Things that's not technology savvy or whatever. Because our technology is amazing. I wouldn't take nothing from it, but it is taken away from our social interaction.
It's very distracting, right?
It is.
I watch you're speaking about gym classes and like I'll go to pick up my son from school and the last gym class of the day, is a walking class. So they let them walk for their gym credit, and these kids are dressed just like we are, jeans and whatever, and they're walking on their cell phones as they're walking around the track. I'm like, nobody's talking to each other.
That's terrible. They need to be out there playing dodgeball,
climbing ropes,
rope, racing. I mean, we were just talking about it last night. Me and my cousin was like, man, when we were kids, we just found things to do outside. Like, it didn't matter what it was, like climbing a tree. It didn't matter.
It wasn't organized play.
Yeah, he was just out there doing whatever. Went to the corner store 100 times a day. Like,
yep.
Like doing whatever.
And Mom didn't know where you were. You were just out.
It was just out. It's just out.
Come home at 5 for dinner.
And we weren't as lazy. Like, we walked everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was just thinking the other day, like, dude, you just walked. Like, people want rides. They want an Uber here. Hey, my parents came in here. Can we drive with you? I'm like, man, if you don't walk your ass down there, like, what's the problem? You got 2 good legs. Figure it out.
My son started riding his bike we know it was nice out when, he would ride his bike to school. And, my mother was like, oh, I don't know about letting him ride his bike to school. I go, Ma, you let me ride everywhere and didn't know where the fuck I was. He's got a cell phone at least. I can text him. Tell me when you get to school.
It's safer now,
And, one time his bike broke down and one of his buddy's parents happened to be driving by, drove him to school, He's, Dad, can you go pick up my bike? Yep, I got it, But it's like, he figured out how to get there, And
it's so crazy because that experience itself probably taught him so much. If nothing else, it taught him how to be independent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to figure some stuff out on your own.
Well, when my wife came into the picture, when Aaron came into the picture, he was 5 years old maybe, and we talked about raising him and how we were going to do it, and neither one of us knew what the hell we were doing, but that's what we thought. We thought we can just teach this kid to be independent. There's kids in other countries who are out hunting when they're 5 and 6, so let's just let him go and he'll learn shit on his own. So we offered advice, we offered guidance, but there was no organized play. There was no us standing over his shoulders. I would go to football practice and drop him off and leave. And I had the coach ask me one time, why don't you stay for practice?
For what?
You're here. I'll come back and pick him up. My father never stayed for practice.
I'm not getting the sniping that you're getting. Like,
no. I'm also not going to stand on the sidelines and go, hey, Hayden, run this.
Yeah.
That's not the way I'm going to work. But
I used to walk to practice. I walked home from practice.
Yeah.
My dad used to work 3rd shift. My mom worked 2nd. So, like, I see them in the morning. I see him when he coming in and she's heading out. But, like, you better learn how to make a hot meal.
You're going to eat a lot of, like, cheese doodles and shit.
Yeah, you better learn how to do it.
So, you were in Youngstown. How'd you end up getting into strongman?
Sean, so crazy. So after I quit football, I continued lifting. I just had a passion for lifting, like just working out in general. Just regular fitness to my knowledge.
Yeah.
Like just regular fitness. Back then it wasn't that much. Like I didn't know much outside of like, 5, 6, and 5.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like one of those kind of things. And you make sure you do legs. So me, Sean, and Brandy Shoemaker worked at the campus rec. And then they ended up starting their gym, man. Like, they were having people come, and everybody that worked at the rec, you kind of became like a little family. Like, you worked at the rec during the time, you spent so much time with each other because in college, if you wasn't working, you was in class. If you weren't in class, you were working most likely. You know what I mean? And then we were all generally overall kind of fit, and like we wanted to like work out, so we spent most of our time there. And when they started their gym, we started going there, and then we got into like boot camp type classes and different things. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, this is different. And then like CrossFit started like coming out of nowhere, and we did my first CrossFit workout. And I was like, oh, fuck this. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I need breaks in between.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's like my heart rate too high. My vision is blurry.
You're nauseous.
Yeah, like, yeah. I was like, man, no. So we tried that a little bit, and then I don't know how Sean got into it. And like I always was aware of it because I used to watch it on TV, like when Mark Henry was doing it.
Yeah,
So
right,
I was a
yeah.
big Mark Henry fan. So he got into it. He was like, kind of like, we're gonna do this thing on Saturday. Just come out. It was unorganized in a sense. Like, we were just gonna do some things, train, have fun, figure out some like fitness things or whatever. And before you know, we was like lifting Atlas stones, and he getting more equipment and seeing different things, and then we started doing like yoke carries and keg tosses and all these different things. And I'm like, I don't know what we're really working towards, but it's fun doing it.
Yeah, right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Like we we were so bad where we'll do like, we would do crazy shit. Like, we'll go run to the Atlas Stone and load it or do reps, and then afterwards the Atlas Stones weren't glazed or glossed, so like our forearms were
right.
like we was like doing drugs.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, and then after training, we'd be out there like taking the old molds and making more stones afterwards, and that was a workout itself because you had to like stir it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we developed this culture like overnight. Kind of like overnight. On Saturdays it was like strongman, so we want to do different things, different kind of training. And then before you know it, Sean was kind of like, it's a show coming up. We should just go out there and compete. And our first show, was in Mansfield, Ohio, and it was the longest show I ever been in my life. And I didn't know what to expect, so I guess I can't say like I can compare it to anything. But like, now that I've been to other multiple shows, like, holy shit, it was long. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was like we got there at 8 for weigh-ins or whatever, and like we weren't leaving till like 7. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like in the middle of their downtown, outside. A lot of people showed up.
Yeah.
And it was sweet. It was sweet. We ended up actually sweeping that competition. Like, all of us placed. And then after that, it was kind of like history from there.
Got the bug.
And unfortunately, at that earlier, I wasn't able to compete as often because I was in school. So like, priorities, being an adult sucks.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't as cool as Sean to own a gym and be working on
yeah.
having a good time, although he'll tell you otherwise. Like, owning a gym sucks.
Yeah. It has its moments.
Yeah. But when I could, I did. It was fun. It was a blast. I met a lot of cool people. And coming from being in different sports like wrestling and football and basketball, and I fenced for a couple years. Everything.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Oh, when I was younger, when I was in Cleveland, I fenced. I was first in the city, second in the state.
No shit.
Yeah. And this was one of those scenarios where like, because I was an asshole as a kid, I went to Elliott, and I had to be in like a alternative program. So it was called auxiliary program. So we went to school from 1 to 4 because we weren't deemed appropriate to be with the regular population. Rather than saying like, why these kids have these different issues. They were like, "Fuck that, we gotta."
Let's just put them all in a box together.
Put them a little later. A guy, who was very like influenced and wanted to do something in the community was like, "Hey, I want to show y'all, take y'all up here to my rec center, show y'all something different. Like, have you ever heard of fencing?" And like he showed us a clip, and I was like, "Yeah, I saw those guys in those white uniforms.
Yeah,
and stuff,
yeah.
Like, swords. We're like those skinny swords. He's like they call foils. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So he spent some time, and I was like, something new. So hell, I tried out.
Yeah.
And I was all right. I turned out pretty
shit.
good. Yeah, anytime you can stab somebody, for fun, I'm like, it's kind of cool.
You're the second high-level fencer we've had on here. Mike Beach, who owns Throw Bros, was a fencer too, and it was another one that surprised me. He was telling me, like, "Oh, okay, who does that?" Yeah,
it's so funny because my dad always reminded me, and I, because it's like I did it, and then like I moved on.
Yeah,
but it was cool. So. But to the point, I always been in sports where like it was very competitive in a sense, and like the culture was kind of like fuck that dude, like I gotta beat him.
Yeah.
And like when I got to strongman, it was like people were like, hell yeah, I want to see you pull 800. You know what I mean? Like it was the most like the community itself is so like supportive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like yeah, we compete, go against each other. Like you may have like in local area rivals or whatever the case may be, but like people like, hey, I need some pointers on this. Can you help me with that?
Yeah,
sure. Come to my gym. We go. You travel. You go to people's gym. And like people look out like, hey, I remember this one time I went to North Carolina. Was it North Carolina? One of the Carolinas to do Lynn Morehouse's regionals comp or whatever, and this is what I'm talking about being supportive. Like this girl that used to train out at our gym stays there. She was like, you can come crash at my place. You don't got to buy a hotel. And go out there. I stay a couple hours away, and I was like, hell, you can't beat that.
Right.
Not to.
Yeah.
So, that's why I really really got into the sport because then I just appreciated the support, the atmosphere,
the camaraderie.
It's really awesome. And you just you travel, you see different people from different walks of life, different things. I probably have done the most traveling in my life, and I probably wouldn't be a person to do much traveling just because, much like you and your wife, if I don't really need to, I'm just probably be at home.
Yeah, right.
I got 2 dogs. It's great. You know what I mean? Like we just hang out, but I get to see more of the world than what I would have if I wasn't doing strong.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Which is good. Like I just recently was at Worlds and got to compete with people.
Silver medal, right?
Yeah. At my weight class, which is pretty awesome, which I didn't even think I would have made it that high, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I was probably like 1 rep, 2 reps away from being gold.
Yeah.
Like literally, because I think he had 41 and I had like 38, 39 point.
Right there.
Yeah, and I was like first going into the last day, which I mean, he was a great athlete. Nothing from the experience, the overall experience was very overwhelming. And very surreal because, like, just to think, America doesn't really hold strongman, like, the sport as high as other countries. Like,
right.
Other countries, strongman is like the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you going against that at Worlds as an American where it's like, oh, you do that as a hobby. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And, like, these, like, pro athletes everywhere, like everywhere else, which is, it's unreal. And again, we talking about worldwide, people still have that supportive atmosphere. Like they cheer you on, high five and follow me on this.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta get together. We hanging out. You know what I mean? Like going out to eat. Everybody's like at the local IHOP together before the game.
Yeah.
Be hanging out. And it's cool. Like I've never been a part of something that's like so universal and everybody can appreciate the sport of somebody like training their ass off, lifting something heavy, seeing something impressive, seeing something that may have never been done. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those kind
and
of
a lot of times it doesn't matter if you're going, we're both doing a deadlift and it's a last man standing and I pull a PR at 600, that's awesome. But it doesn't matter that you pulled a PR at 900 because that's awesome too, you know?
It's like yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what's cool about it. you look up at that picture up there. That was from my last nationals I ever did as a Highland Games athlete, and so there's Mike Zolkowitz, Dan McKim, who was like a 5-time world champion in the middle. It's Matt Vincent all the way over on the right, and his brother Andy's to my right hand side. It's just like all those we were all trying to kill each other all weekend, and but we're hanging out and having fun. Yeah. And it just was a good time, and that's the way Highland Games was. Just like strongman, everyone was just cool to each other,
which is awesome. I mean, you got to appreciate that.
Yeah.
We oftentimes train with each other. People like crossing ways. For example, Anthony Foreman. He's like the 105 2-time.
Yeah, we've had Anthony on the show. Yep.
I did a competition with him before, a partner competition out in West Virginia, and then he's about to come to our gym in a couple weeks.
Is he?
Yeah. Richie Scout. He actually started with us, moved to Florida. Boy, every time he come home, guess what? He back in our gym. We just took a picture the other day. Another world class athlete. You just get to hang out with so many cool people.
Yeah.
And it's a very again, like, people come around whenever drop in. Sean's very open, and he's like, yeah, come hang out. Vaughn out in PA, a world class athlete, master athlete. We go to his gym sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes he come to ours. The more people you can bring on a strongman weekend, like when you train, it's like, thank God we get more breaks.
Right.
Like, please come by.
More the merrier, for sure.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like, even like when we come here, we always bring as many people we can possibly.
Sean always brings a ton of people here, and our events would be like half the size if BSS didn't show up. I know he's bringing. Anyways, he's bringing some people for our next one, and then then Iron and Stone Strength is bringing some people down, and it should be a big event. But I think that's the thing, is you're just making relationships with people.
That's all it is.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's all it is. And people remember you. What I mean? Like, from somebody that's MCing, somebody that may have judged you or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they remember you, especially like when you get like these people that go like pros and like they judge you at like local shows.
Yeah.
Because they're not, they're off season or whatever the case may be.
I try to get the same judges every year at the event, so when you guys come in, it's like, oh, Susan's running the Stone. She's been running the Stones for 10 years. I mean, it's just you know what to expect. But so, what are you training for now?
So I have, I guess, ultimately 3 big goals I want to achieve. Now, I don't know what path I'm going to take to achieve these goals, but I want to win nationals, or at least podium in nationals, in the strongman corp and in USS. To have the opportunity to go compete at amateur strongman at the Arnold. Not 2020, but 2021.
Be 2021, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to figure out a path to go there. And there's a few platinum shows out there I was thinking about getting into.
Strongman Core is how you get to the Arnold, though, right?
Correct.
Because now they own. Doesn't the Arnold or Rogue owns?
Yeah, I think Arnold bought Strongman.
Yeah.
And Rogue invested into him. So
okay.
Now I'm thinking it's going to be very popular coming up. So I can see a lot of sub-titled shows coming up outside of like the Worlds and stuff like that. Like, I can see them taking it to a different level and getting a lot of media coverage and things of that nature.
Yeah, I think Strongman Core is going to end up. I don't know what'll happen to USS, but when you have all the eggs in the Strongman Core basket to get you to the Arnold, or the Arnold is a big it's a big thing to be dangling out there in front of people. That's the show.
It is. And I just think for me, I don't know what I would do after that if I was to achieve those. I joke with Brandy oftentimes because I hated bodybuilding, but I did it. I always joke with her about, after this is all said and done, I'm gonna do one more run with bodybuilding, but I hate dieting. I love it.
Yeah, it's tough.
But I don't know. That's what I want to achieve. So whatever shows I can get into, this, like, maybe I think they call it like Platinum Plus. I don't know how to fuck whatever.
Yeah.
If it says on there that I can qualify to go there, I'm gonna try to probably compete.
See, that's the thing. That's what you gotta. There's no sense. there's no sense doing a show that's not going to get you to where your goals are putting you.
Right.
If it's
So like for me personally, if I qualify for something, for example, when I qualified for Worlds, I did Youngstown Strongs that was put on by Dylan um, at Ironman Warehouse down in Youngstown, and I did it for the purpose of having a really good training day. Like I didn't do it to compete per se, and like not to like sound douche or anything like that, but like I did it just for that solely purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like I wasn't trying to go and do whatever, and it was good. And like I do that often if I can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's one thing to train, but it's another thing to like compete.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what our Odin's Challenge is. That's what it's a 3-event thing, and just come out and have fun, and
which is awesome. And I love the way y'all do your competition, because I think you're the only person that has the strategy when you put on the whiteboard and run it so smooth to have all 3 of us going together. And everybody's like, you in group A,
yep.
Group B,
and we're gonna get out here and eat in 3 hours.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Because just how athletes are. You do one event, it's like, oh man, I get the 45-minute break.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna go hang out, put my feet up.
I gotta set a PR. I want to get it done. I try to set PR. Oh, we got it done in 3 hours this year, or 2.5. Yeah, I got to get people through. But yeah. Well, that's good. Are you doing all your own programming, or?
No, Sean programs for me. He has been programming for me since I've been going to his gym.
Yeah.
I trust his programming. Clearly, it took me far.
And he knows his shit, man. The guy knows his stuff.
And he's no slouch of an athlete himself.
Yeah, right. So, what's your best deadlift?
My best deadlift is 766.
So you're knocking on the door at 800. He's knocking on the door at 900.
Yeah. And
wow.
Just recently, I don't know if she's coming to the Euro show this year. She might be actually. Tony V.
Little Tony?
Yeah, Little Tony. She just PR big time. I think she did like 330 something, 340.
Jesus. Yeah, she's tiny little thing.
Yeah, maybe it was more than that. Maybe it was 380 something. But yeah, she just PR huge.
Was she just doing that to impress Bernie? She was just trying to catch his eye.
That's funny.
Bernie driving hard to the hole.
Yeah, right. in his cheetah print shorts.
Right, yeah.
They went out to, we were always supposed to overslip, but they went out to a deadlift competition, pretty much that was like a open event to give some publicity to this new gym that was opened up out in Anthony Furman's hometown, I believe it was. He was putting it on. He just put it on to go over it, to just have some people come out and deadlift.
Yeah.
And that's where they did it at. And I think Sean was there. Sean did. He PR'd, and get this shit right here. His PR was a triple rep of 765. Wow. He was like, yeah, I PR'd, I did 765 3 times. Like, holy shit.
Well, we went out to train at BSS and do like a video for YouTube one time, and I think he pulled like 750 for a triple or something. He was just like screwing around middle of the day.
Yeah, like just hanging out.
Fuck, man. Yeah, because we were going up in triples, and we did 500. I'm like, okay. And then he threw 585 on the bar, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Right. So I'm just going to do this for one. And he wasn't even slowing down.
No. And his favorite thing is it takes him so long to warm up. He's like, I just got to keep going. It takes me so long to warm up. It's like, holy shit, we going to be warm.
You're going to be plenty warm, for sure. Good dude. I love the Shoemakers. Good folks, man.
He is. He a really good dude. Brain's awesome as well. Our dude Craig, he just had a big PR too. I think he did 5. He did something swell over 5. He's not going to do at 600, and he like weighs 160 once. I think he's gonna be like an 80.
That's one of the things though that I tell people. Like we've had all these people in our gym lift Atlas stones that they shouldn't be able to lift. Like 160-pound kid lifting a 350 Atlas stone. It's like, he doesn't understand he can't do that because everybody else in the gym is lifting huge. Right. And when you're at BSS, if Sean can deadlift 860, I can deadlift 400. What's the problem, you know?
And it's so crazy because, like, out of nowhere, all of a sudden, BSS is getting this title of, like, deadlift.
Deadlift machine.
Everybody's talking about it. It's like, I don't. We just been doing this. You know, I'm just like, what do you say? Like, I don't really know. Richie was just talking about it. Richie Scott, because he started at our gym same way. Like he had a good deadlift. He was like, I'm pretty sure, because we talked about it at Worlds. Like they had a deadlift ladder. He was like, we're all gonna win it. Like,
well, in this place, everyone does really well in the Atlas Stones and real well in the deadlift. Because that's what I was good at.
Yeah.
So nobody could fucking squat and save their life, you know. But everyone could deadlift and pull Atlas stones, it's just funny, man. That culture you build, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's subconsciously the way I program somehow.
And same with Sean.
Yeah.
Like Sean knows how to make you strong. Like, because that's how he is. Like,
yeah.
He knows what.
That's how I program, and it made my Atlas stones deadlift go up. And I'm not even realizing that's how I'm programming everybody.
Else, he does the same thing.
Yeah.
He does the same thing.
Crazy.
Oh my god, and it's funny. It's crazy that you brought that up because that's probably why we have this odd phenomenon that's happening with these deadlifts.
Yeah,
because it was never meant to be. It wasn't. Because I bet you if we set out to do that, it would never have been. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? It would have been a flop. Like nobody would have been like.
Yeah.
But because that's what he is really good at, he do it without even thinking, program it the way for us.
Yeah.
And it just happens.
Yeah.
Like it just funneled down. Like the domino effect,
It's crazy to see that many good deadlifters in one spot, you know.
We have some really strong girls too. Like our girls are really, really strong. Like,
yeah.
Good athletes.
Well, Brandy's no joke either. Jesus.
No joke. She was just talking about doing a show actually yesterday because we all left. That's another thing. Like it's Thanksgiving Day and we're like still in the gym trying to, you know what I mean? Like go for PRs.
As it should be.
You know what I mean? Like,
you can't stop training every chance you get, you know?
And she was just talking about doing a show the other day and like Sean was like, you want to do Masters? And she was like, no. Like, hell, I ain't doing Masters.
I love Masters. Masters is great. You can put me with the old men. I'm good.
That's what Vaughn was talking about the other day. He's like, man, I love being a master.
Yeah. I had Vaughn in here, man. He barely fit in that fucking chair. He's so big. A big dude, man.
Funny story. We out at Vaughn's gym. And we getting ready for Worlds or whatever. And they had this medley of death, which by far was the worst shit I ever did in my life. Like,
yeah.
I mean, literally, it single-handedly fucked everybody in the conversation. Like, and thank God it was only 2 events a day because if it was a third one after that, nobody would have, it would have been tragic. So we go out to Vaughn's gym to train this, and he'd been doing it religiously. He's like, all right, so we said we'll do a little like warm up. We talking bullshit around, much like we're doing right now. He like stretching. He takes these 3 punk ass laps. He like get a little sweat. He's like, all right, I'm ready. And like he's doing the actual competition weight. And me and Sean look at each other like, he's about to fucking go right now. like I like to warm up. Like
right.
Light sandbags first, a couple runs.
Swings his arms a couple times. Let's go. Yeah.
He put his hood off. He's like, all right, I'm ready. And he's like doing the heaviest weight we could possibly do. Like, shit, this is crazy.
That's why all the Masters were always fucked up because we didn't, when we came up, there was no warming up. You just got under the bar, 135, 225, and you just go. Oh, shit. So when do you go back?
I'm going to go back today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go back today. Catch up on some things. Also do some side contract work for a company called the Village Network, which Village Network is out here too, out of Lorraine County. Just to see some of my kiddos to see how they did with the holidays.
Yeah.
It can be tough for them.
Yeah, sure can.
So, checking on my dogs, training, of course. I was actually thinking about training here since I was out here.
You got clothes? Come on out.
Yeah, I'm thinking about training here. So, that's gonna be pretty much it, really. Have my parents might come down over the weekend, get ready for rivalry week.
Yeah.
See some good old Ohio State football. Hopefully the Browns can pull it off again without the fight.
Yeah, right. A little felony action going on there.
Yeah.
Jesus. All right, well, cool, man. I appreciate you coming out and coming on the show.
About that, though, real fast.
What's it? Oh, the fight?
But these sports, professionals and analysts and this and that, they're like, oh my God, this is the worst thing I ever seen. I'm like, y'all didn't see fucking football in the 80s?
Yeah.
This is the worst.
That was pretty common.
Yeah, it was like people made careers out of like knocking people out.
Jack Lambert was always ripping guys' helmets off
and like beating you with it. Like I'm not talking about like the swing. I was talking about like he was handing you your ass with this helmet.
Yeah,
like this is not the worst shit. Like I mean, he hit him so hard that he was able to turn around and say, "Ref, come on."
That's
like,
what he did. He turned around, "What up, man?"
Yeah, like come on, dude. Like,
and he started it.
Yeah, he started like. Don't. No, was it right? Absolutely not. Like, here, yes, he should be suspended. He had no business doing that. But like, this dude should be suspended too. Like,
yeah, or look at the hockey fights where it's they just let him go. Yeah, I think the NFL is just wanting to be so family friendly that all that stuff now is looked upon like it's some big deal. That shock, I mean,
like whatever.
Yeah, he did.
Man, a while back, you remember when what is his name now? Metal War Peace. Back when he was forming
right,
test,
right.
Into the stands.
Forgot about that. Yeah,
like the worst shit you ever seen. Like, come on, like it's been worse things.
God, I remember that fight.
I don't even consider myself old. Like, in my lifetime, I didn't see some shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, back in the day, that wasn't that long ago because I can remember that shit.
Yeah, like this shit just happened.
Well, they'll figure it out, and
I think they shoot themselves in the foot. I just had this conversation the other day. We were talking about like if people let up, and I don't want to say, well, if people let up and just take too many hands out of the pot, things would be okay.
Yeah,
things would be okay. Like I think people get too nervous. Their assholes get tight, and then like they want to make all these different rules, and that's probably why the NFL is a fucking mess in a lot of ways because
being micromanaged.
Yeah, it's too much. It's like, dude, go back to the basics. These guys signed $1 million contracts. The best thing the NFL did was to pay another organization that's not a part of them to do concussion protocol. But outside of that, nobody ever said, "Hey, buddy, you want to play this contact sport, or you would never get hurt." Like, they fucking know what they're doing.
You know what you're from the 6th grade. You know what you're in for.
Yeah, they've been playing this for years. Like, come on.
Yeah, I told my son one more concussion, he's done. But he had one when he was little from soccer. It was not even from football. So all I know is I probably had several of them because they didn't do concussion testing back then. And I'm a stumbling, mumbling bastard now. But I don't know if that's just because I'm stupid or because I got hit in the head too many times, But, yeah, you're right, though. They know what they're in for.
And now, so for them to make all these, like, different rules to, like, quote-unquote make it safe, like, no time a defensive lineman that's 300 plus that runs a 40 at fucking 4.6, 4.5.
Yep.
You're gonna be safe.
Yep.
Like this, like that's a fucking moving car.
I can't even imagine. When they started doing this helmet on helmet contact, I was like, that's how we were taught to tackle.
That's why you gave us the helmet.
Right.
I'm confused.
I never understood that. I'm like, I couldn't even have played football now because that's how they showed us to tackle.
So, like, one of my biggest pet peeves is like they have rules and then like a sub rule. So, like, all right, helmet to helmet is a rule, like no helmet to helmet, and then a sub rule is like targeting. How the fuck? Like, which one is it? Like,
right. Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to hit him helmet to helmet, but like if he lowers his head because he's trying to prepare for contact, impact, and we're taught to go low, and we so happen to hit helmets. Oh shit! It's part of the sport, but I'm gonna get this fucking fine because God forbid some 6-year-old kid see this and thought it was cool and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go tackle somebody like this." Like, no, like that's not.
Yeah. I just remember getting done with the high school football season and putting that helmet down and seeing all the stripes on it from all the different teams.
Like a badge of honor,
and then you'd have the kids who never played and they'd scuff it with their cleats. So they'd have scuff marks. I was like, dude, you never even saw the field. You got all these black marks on your helmet. Yeah, right.
I could even ride home in my mom's car. I'd be so dirty.
Oh yeah, my mother. Windows down, and be 3 of us in the car. Oh God, yeah. She'd pick up 3 of us from high school, and it would just be like, "Oh God,"
Oh man,
the good old days.
Yeah, man.
All right, well, I'm gonna get you out of here. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man.
We'll do it again. It was a good time.
Absolutely.
Do it again, and good luck. And let me know how things go.
Awesome, man. Really appreciate it.
All right, brother. This has been the Refined Savage. See ya.